Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim, and today we're going to be picking my March TBR. So if you watched my TBR video from last month, I had my dogs help me pick my books for February. I definitely want to do that again in the future, but I thought for this month we would do something a little different. So I bought these TBR cards from a shop on Etsy. I will link the shop down in the description of this video so that if you ever want to get these and try this out, you can. So I got a fantasy set and a romance set since those are my two most read genres and my two favorite genres. And I just printed them out on some cardstock and cut them out. I tried really hard today when I was cutting these out not to read all of them because I wanted to be surprised with you guys on what some of them were, and I didn't want to have books already in mind for the different prompts. I mean, obviously I saw some of them. It was hard not to read them as I was cutting them out, but I tried not to read all of them. But yeah, so I thought I would just shuffle these up and we pick some of these prompts. So these for example, this prompt for the romance one, the one on top says a book about a marriage or a wedding. And then the first one on the fantasy deck is a book that was turned into a movie. So we'll pick some of these and then we'll figure out a book that will fit within this prompt. I thought this would be really fun and help me I don't know, push me to read some books maybe that I wasn't planning on reading anytime soon or anything like that. Maybe get some of these physical books on my shelves read, you know? But I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job with, actually. But I'm still far away from that. I think I made it the goal, 40 of my physical books on my shelves I would like to read this year. So I'm still kind of far from that. But anyways, I'm thinking, so I have 3 books already picked out to be read this month because of a challenge I'm going to attempt to do later in the month. And then I have another book that I plan on doing as a buddy read with one of my friends. I'm just currently waiting for her to finish the book she's reading now, which was actually our last buddy read. She's struggling. I struggled as well, so I do not blame her whatsoever. You'll hear all about that when I do my February reading wrap up. So I'm thinking I might do, okay, depending on if I can fit one of those 4 books within one of these prompts that I pick, I'll probably do 5 or 6. So if I can fit one of those into one of these prompts, I'll probably do 6 cards today. And if I can't, I'll probably do 5 cards. And I think I'm going to do either 3 and 3 fantasy, 3 romance, or I'm going to do 3 romance and 2 fantasy. Is that so confusing? Do you guys need to know all that? I don't know, but I'm letting you know. But yeah, I tend to read more romance than fantasy each month, just because I think I've talked about it before. I have a hard time reading fantasy books back to back to back, just because I don't like to get the worlds too jumbled in my head. So I do like to read fantasies as palette cleansers in between. Romances. Did I say fantasies? I like to read romances as palette cleansers in between fantasies. And I can read romances back to back to back. I can read romance all day, every day, any day. I don't tend to have a problem reading those back to back to back. But anyways, what a wordy introduction. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna get these shuffled up and let's pick some of these prompts. Okay, I got them laying out. They're upside down. I can't see them. So let's pick one. Oh, okay. A dark romance. Okay. A dark romance. I'm trying to think if there's any dark romances I've been wanting to read. I mean, it is definitely a genre that I've been wanting to get more into. I feel like I have not read very many. And then a couple that I've read that I think were technically classified as dark romance. I don't know if they were really into dark. I think they were dark romance light, if you will. So I've been really wanting to try some actual dark romance books. So okay, I'm going to put some thought into this one. Second romance one. A friends to lovers romance. Okay, I'm gonna probably have to do some research on this to figure out what books I have that have this trope. I mean, I have a lot to choose from. There's a lot of books that I have not read that are romance. Oh, I think I might have one in mind. All right, let's pick our last romance one. An enemies to lovers romance. You guys know I love an enemies to lovers romance. Okay, again, I'll have to think about it. I'll have to look and see what I have, what's available. Okay, but those are our 3 romance ones that we picked: a dark romance, a friends to lovers, and an enemies to lovers. Okay, so those are the romance ones we got picked out. Let's pick either 2 or 3 fantasy, like I said, depending on if I can fit the books I have in mind into these. And then I'll also let you guys know what those books are I plan on reading. All right, let's pick our 2 to 3 fantasies. Okay, first one. Oh my god. A thick book with 500 plus pages. Okay, I definitely have some here that are over 500 pages that are fantasy. Okay, I think I know which one I think I'm gonna read for this one. Okay, a book about witches. Actually, I know the perfect book for this because I was gonna read it this month, but I hadn't received it yet. So I know exactly what book I'm gonna pick for this. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick another one just in case, okay? It's funny, like, I was so good about not, like I told you guys, I was tried really hard not to read a lot of these as I was cutting them out, but I feel like I'm getting the ones that I saw when I cut them out. So weird. Okay, a book with non-human characters. I actually think I know one for this too. And I'm excited about it because I've been wanting to read it. Okay, so our 3 fantasy ones are a book with non-human characters, a book that has 500 or more pages, and a book about witches. All right, so let me pick out the books to go with each of these prompts, and then I'll let you guys know what they are. Before I show you which books I picked to go with those cards, I want to show you the other 4 books I had planned to read this month prior to that. So the first 3 is the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I plan to read all 3 of these this month. I'm actually going to attempt to do a challenge with these on my channel. So keep an eye out for that video in the future, but that's 3 of the books. The other book I plan on reading is called The Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I have seen it blowing up on social media and I've heard really good things about it. It's very highly rated on Goodreads. All I really know is the main female character finds out she's Hercules, and I know that I think it's supposed to be like enemies to lovers, of a reverse harem. She's like forced to attend this academy with like other Spartans. But that's really all I know about it. But I've really been wanting to read it, so I plan to. I'm not too sure. I know it's going to be a series. I'm not too sure how many books. I kind of want to say I think it's going to be a duology, but I could be completely wrong with that. But I do know the second book is coming out later this year. So I wanted to read that one. So that's 4 of the books I plan to read outside of these prompts. So let's get into the books I picked to go with the prompts. So first off, a book about witches. I am going to read The Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. So this book is the second book to a duology, the Crimson Moth duology. And this book just came out last week. And I really wanted to read it in February. However, I didn't get my book. My book is on the way. I didn't get the book in time. So I thought this is perfect prompt for this book because as the title call is called Rebel Witch. It's about witches. And I've been excited to read this book. It's one of my more highly anticipated books from the year that I want to read. So we will be reading that to go with that prompt. Okay, so for our Friends to Lovers book, I am going to read Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is part of the Lovelight Farms series. This is a 4-book series by her. All the books are out. I have only read the first 2 books. I really wanted to try to finish the series last year. I just never got around to it. So I figured perfect time. I need to read 2 more. So this one fits this prompt. So I figure let's get this one in. This is an Afterlight edition of this book and it's gorgeous. So this is like a small town, friends to lovers, kind of like our main female character kind of is like over dating. She's just getting a bunch of duds, and her, her friend, I'm sorry, I cannot remember the names of the main characters right now. Let me see. Layla and Caleb. Okay. So Layla is just kind of like over all the duds, right? She can't find love. She can't find a decent guy. And Caleb is, her friend who's like, you know what? Like, let's date for like a month. I'm going to prove to you, like, basically kind of like love's not dead. But he has like a secret crush on her. So, I think it sounds really cute. I've enjoyed the other 2 books in the series. They're not like my favorites. I think, which is kind of why it's taking me a little while to get through this series, but, I hear that they get better and better. So I am excited to try this one. So yeah, so Friends to Lovers, that's going to be our book for that. Okay, so for our Enemies to Lovers romance books, we're doing, this is not fantasy, so romance. I'm going to do Cash by Jessica Peterson. This is a book I've been wanting to read. It's on KU, so I already have it downloaded actually, because I almost started this the other day, but I picked a different book instead. So it's perfect. Perfect timing, fits perfectly. So in this one, our main female character inherits a cattle ranch from like her estranged father after he passes away. But like she has to, I think like there's like a stipulation basically that she has to like actually run the ranch for like a year and like before she can get like her inheritance. And so she's going to do that, but like the guy, Cash, I am assuming is his name, kind of stands in her way. He's like the foreman of the cattle ranch or whatever. And she like needs him to like teach her how to do things. And obviously he's going to be like a difficult, grumpy cowboy. Okay. So obviously we can probably imagine what happens from there. But I've been wanting to read this series, especially because I think the second book in the series is called Wyatt. And I saw someone on Instagram, a bookstagrammer, say that if you loved Theo from Reckless by Elsie Silver, which I did, that you would love Wyatt in Wyatt. So I want to read that one, but it's a series and I figured like, well, I want to read them all. They're on KU, like I said, so I can read them without spending any money, which is nice. So I figured, let me read them in order, even though I know they are technically standalones and I could skip to Wyatt, but I'm going to read them all. So I figured this is perfect. We'll read Cash for our Enemies to Lovers romance book for the month of March. Okay. A thick book of 500 plus pages. Another book I have been wanting to read. And let's see. She clocks in at 561 pages. This is for a fantasy book, obviously. Not too many romance books out there over 500 pages. But The Throne of the Fallen. Anyways, Throne of the Fallen by Carrie. I don't want to butcher her name, so I'm not going to have to say her last name. But this has been on my shelf for a while now, and it's been on my TBR for a while because I've heard really good things about it. Apparently, this is a series, a fantasy series, but they're kind of standalones from what I know, which is like pretty unique because typically romance series, are all interconnected. But these, I guess, are standalones from what I've heard. I'll let you know more after I read this. But I've heard really good things about this. I've heard this is a nice, spicy fantasy read. I don't know a whole lot about the plot, though. I kind of like that. I kind of like going into fantasy books not knowing a whole lot. I think this has, like, it's like an Enemies to Lovers. I think it has to do with, like, the underworld and maybe some, like, trials and stuff. Don't quote me on that. Those are, like, just tidbits I've heard over time, but like I said, I like kind of going into these not knowing a whole lot, but this one is perfect for 500 plus and I've been wanting to read it for a while. So, and this is also a physical book I own, so we'll check that off my list as well, reading another physical book on my shelf. So that is what we're going to read for our 500 plus page fantasy book. Okay, we have 2 left, a dark romance and a book with non-human characters. And funnily enough, the dark romance I've been wanting to read also has non-human characters in it. So I was like, oh, which one should I, pick for this to go in? But I think I technically am going to have this one go along with the non-human characters, because this is technically supposed to be a fantasy book, and this dark romance is a fantasy book. So this is a dark fantasy romance duology. So I'll probably end up reading both of these books this month. It's called Feathers So Vicious by Liv Xander. I don't know a whole lot about this. I saw a reel about this on Instagram. Somebody was suggesting dark romance series that are complete. So this is like I said, a complete duology, and it has raven shifters in it. So non-human characters. Yes, there's human characters. Maybe this is a little bit of a stretch to fit the prompt, but I think it's kind of hard to find books with just complete all non-human characters. Anywho, but these are raven shifters. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it's a like I said, dark romance. It's an enemies to lovers. We have like morally gray men. The line I picked and I liked from the description of this is, what this book doesn't contain is a hero, because villains do it better. So I am very excited to read this one. Like I mentioned, I really been wanting to try some more dark romance. This is dark fantasy romance, so I'm excited. I'll probably end up reading both books this month if I have the time. The last is a dark romance fantasy. So I realize I don't own, like, the only dark romances I own are ones I've already read. And I was gonna just like lump these two together for the books I just talked about, but I was like, no, I think that's a little bit cheating. So I was like, let me find a dark romance that I don't know, has some good reviews, that's on KU, so I can try it out. I don't have to purchase it. So I did a little research on some dark romance books, and I picked this one out. It's called Chokehold by Leah Rivers. Again, I don't know a whole lot about it. I watched a reel about it, again, from somebody on Instagram, and it sounds like it starts off pretty, pretty spicy. I'll just say that. She said like it's in the first couple pages. There's a spice scene, and she says it's unhinged, but it's good. She had this in like a list of books that are very spicy but still have good plot, and that's what I love. I have to have a good plot with my spicy books. This is again, dark romance, obviously, because we're picking it for our dark romance card. This is a male sports college, so it's ticking a lot of boxes for me of things I typically like. So I was like, I already picked this out, and I'm a little regretting it. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could change it, but I was just looking at it more on Goodreads, like the description. And it says, the first problem, they both have girlfriends. The worst problem, they're stepbrothers, and I don't know how I feel about that. I typically stay away from that kind of content. I think I have read like another book where the main female character does end up with her stepbrother, but it's like, but they like barely met, like their parents are getting married like when they're like both much older, and they knew each other before their parents were getting married, so it was like a little less weird. I hope this is something similar to that. I don't know, we're gonna find out together, I guess. I picked it. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna not back down from it. Okay, I'm gonna read it and I'll let you guys know, later. I mean, it's well rated. It has a 4.06 on Goodreads. I don't know, we're gonna try it out. Why not? Let's try out new things. Let's not judge before I read it. We'll see. Okay, so those are all the books I'm going to attempt to read in the month of March. We have the 6 books from the cards. I went ahead and just stuck with the 6. And then we have the 4 books that I already had, planned to read for the month. I'm excited. So it's a total of 10 books for the month of March, and I think that's doable. March is a longer month. So yeah, I think I can get through 10. I'm confident. And if I don't, that's okay too, It's not like this is, set in stone. It's okay if I don't, but I'm gonna, try my hardest, and hopefully I don't have any DNFs, but we'll see on that too. I'm a little hilarious about that Step Brothers romance now that I saw that that's what it is. We're gonna see, we're gonna try, like I said, we're gonna try it out. We're trying new things this year, okay? And we'll try a Step Brothers romance as one of those things. But yeah, if you liked this, let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what is going to be on your March TBR. What books are you going to be reading this coming month? What books are you excited about? Let me know all the things in the comments. But if you like this, I would appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed. You could hit the little bell button if you want to know next time I'm going to upload a new video, and I'll see you in the next video.